Good evening.
Hello and welcome to Cupcakes and Hot Takes with
Episode 10?
Yes, episode 10.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
1/10 of the way there.
Yeah, 1/10 of the big list. Oh, excuse me. Drink some tea here.
I'm Maral. This is John.
John, sorry.
We are Cupcakes and Hot Takes, doing the IMDB 100 top rated movies.
Yes.
Today we're talking about Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. You ready?
Yep, ready.
Alright, I'll do the synopsis. We continue the epic saga in Middle-earth. Frodo gets a little closer to the Mount Doom, and the battling commences between evil and good. Not much else to say. Yeah, as a reminder, we watched the theatrical version first to see how it was presented on the big screen, and then later we watched the extended editions. So we will talk about those extended editions towards the end, but for the beginning we will only be talking about the theatrical version.
Yes.
And a little intro. So this film was released December 17th, 2003, right before Christmas. They knew it was going to be a big one.
Yep.
So usually when they have like a big release, they either do like a summer blockbuster or they do like right before Christmas, because then they'll get in for the awards.
I mean, all the Lord of the Rings were released in like November, December time.
Right, but I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
They usually do. So, I think they knew they had a big winner on their hands. Obviously, it's also directed by Peter Jackson, as they did all the filming kind of simultaneously. The runtime is almost 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 21 minutes. If you add the extended scenes, it's another 51 minutes. What does that bring the entire series to if you include the extended editions? 14 hours?
All 3 movies?
Yeah.
Extended edition? I want to say, if I remember off the top of my head, like 12, 13 hours.
Well, let there be a blur.
Yeah, let there be a blur.
Less than half of what I'd hoped for.
It was $94 million, and they made a whopping $1.146 billion worldwide.
Billion with a B.
The good one.
I mean, million is good too.
Obviously, this is adapted from J.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series. So he had 3 different books, so they adapted each book into a film, right?
Yes.
So this book is obviously Return of the King, hence the name.
Fun fact, random trivia. J.R. Tolkien wanted to publish one massive book called Lord of the Rings. But his editor and publisher were like, no.
Please.
Divvy this up.
What would that have been, like a 2,000-page book?
I don't know, something crazy though.
Because like an 800-page book is already like
Yeah.
a couple inches. So, a couple inches. So yeah, that's the introductory information. What do you rate it, John?
Yeah, this movie, I love this movie. Great movie.
Most people's favorite.
Yeah, most people's favorite. Yeah, just a reminder, my personal favorite was Fellowship.
Mine is Two Towers.
Yeah.
Not to be a contrarian, I know a lot of people, that's a hot take.
Oh, not really. Actually, they did a survey about what of the 3 was people's favorite. Each movie got 33% of the vote.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really good, to show how great the series.
Yeah, as a whole, and how consistent it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
But with this movie, I'm gonna have to give this one a 9.4 cupcakes out of 10.
I agree. Also, exactly 9.4.
Yeah, that's very rare for us to have the exact same score.
It is. I think we also had the same score on Shawshank.
Yes.
9.5. So.
Yes. You don't have to believe it. I wrote it in the
I
notes
know.
there.
I'm making it seem like a casual conversation.
These people know we got notes.
And interestingly enough, Rotten Tomatoes has a pretty close score of 93%. So if you obviously turn ours into a percentage, 94%, yeah, we're really close.
Yeah, but keep in mind though, they gave Two Towers the highest rating of 95%.
What are you gonna do? That's their favorite, I guess.
Tell them they're wrong.
John, go ahead and go into the Academy Awards.
All
That's
right.
your favorite.
My part here. All right. So these were the 76th Academy Awards, and this movie swept pretty much all the awards. It was nominated for 11 and won all 11.
So this is the 2004 awards, right?
Yes, the 2004 for the 2003 pictures.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it just won. Everything was nominated in. I remember
Every
watching.
single thing it was nominated?
Yep, 11 for 11.
Wow.
So this officially overtakes Schindler's List as our most won movie of nominated or Academy Awards.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Fun fact though, Fellowship still had more nominations. Fellowship had 13.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they didn't sweep.
Yeah, they did not sweep. I remember watching. Sorry, little anecdote here. I remember watching these Academy Awards.
I do too.
Yeah,
I was sick.
Yeah, my older sister was really into watching the Academy Awards every year for some reason. A while back. So I started watching. I watched them every now and then, and there's this one category, I forget what it was, in a movie one that wasn't Lord of the Rings. And the woman that went to accept the award actually went up and said, I was so happy to hear Lord of the Rings was not in this category. But yeah.
You remember that from being, what, like 12, 13 years old?
Yeah, around 12, 13 years old.
I remember watching that exact awards ceremony because I was sick, and I believe the Academy Awards were on a Sunday. And normally I wasn't allowed to stay up long enough to see all of the awards, but I was already sick as a dog, so Mom was like, alright, you can come into bed with me and watch it. So I got to stay up for the first time when I was, 10?
Wow.
11? Okay, sorry, I didn't think it was that boring. Anyway.
You got a little
Moving
Legion, Black Cat Legion.
Yeah, I got Legion. She's on my Black Cat blanket, so it's very appropriate.
Alright. Well, into the actual awards. So first was Best Picture. Looking at the other nominations for Best Picture, we have Lost in Translation, Master Commander, Mystic River, and Seabiscuit.
I do like Seabiscuit.
I do like Seabiscuit. Master Commander was alright.
Lost in Translation, pretty decent.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
That's what's his name? The guy from Ghostbusters.
Bill Murray?
Is it the Bill Murray movie?
I
Or
believe
is it the
so.
Tom Hanks movie?
Oof.
No, Tom Hanks is Terminal. Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Bill Murray. I
Bill
mean, let there be a blurb if we're wrong. So, just looking at the other nominations, no-brainer that Return of the King was the best picture that year.
Definitely. But there's some other good movies.
Yeah, like I said, the aughts, probably one of the golden ages of movies, very notable movies that also came out that year were Pirates of the Caribbean.
The very first one.
Old Boy.
Good Korean film.
Yeah.
On our list,
Yep.
I believe.
Kill Bill Volume 1. Love Actually. Finding Nemo. The First Underworld. The Incredible Hulk. School of Rock. The Italian Job. Holes. Monster. The First Wrong Turn. The Last Samurai. Elf. Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan. Freddy vs. Jason.
Ooh.
And The City of God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some solid films.
Yeah. Personally, I was surprised City of God wasn't nominated. Unless I'm thinking of another City of God movie.
I'm surprised Monster was nominated with Charlize Theron.
Yeah. But hey, like I said, even then, if those were nominated, I still think Return of the King was the best picture that year.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And then, Best Director, Peter Jackson. Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Art Direction, Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, Best Makeup, Best Original Score by the amazing Howard Shore, Best Original Song.
Do you know which song? Specifically?
No, not off the top of my head. Let me
I
look
guess
that
we'll
up.
find out shortly.
Yeah.
Instead of in a blurb. I'll continue. Best Sound Mixing, it also won. And Best Visual Effects, obviously, also won. So those are the 11. Is that 11 already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. Yep, that's all 11. Obviously, we discussed the makeup in the first one. A lot of these things we're trying to not to reiterate, so you know how we feel about these things if you've seen the previous ones, but it just continues to be amazing.
Yeah, the song was called Into the West, and it's the song that they sing, sung by Annie Lennox at the end credits.
Oh, I do like Annie Lennox. Great voice.
Honestly, I still prefer Enya's Let It Be from the end credits.
I mean, Enya has such an ethereal.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
aspect.
Annie Lennox did great, great song, but I'm just I'm still amazed that it was robbed by
The Monsters Inc.
The Monsters Inc. song. Really, really.
I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked about that.
But yeah,
let's move forward.
let's move forward. So that pretty much does it for the awards.
So moving on, we'll have spoiler territory. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah, but before the spoilers, we have to thank our sponsor.
That's right. Bakery Park, local Schaumburg, Chicagoland area bakery by yours truly. In accordance with our title, Cupcakes and Hot Takes, we have our Cupcake of the Week, or of the movie. So this is Samwise Gamgee's Strawberries and Cream Cupcake. I will go up and share. It's a whipped cream and strawberry with a vanilla cake.
Strawberries and cream.
Yeah, very simple, very hopeful, pretty, bright colored cupcake. Nothing fancy, but that's all that the hobbits really want, right?
Yep.
It's to live peacefully
And simply.
simply.
Can I eat it?
Yeah, please eat. It's a little hard to with the strawberry.
Yeah. These are good.
Yeah, you like this?
The strawberries make it a little bit difficult to eat because they're big in shape. Here's Baron,
Oh,
the
look,
border
you
collie.
want some.
I'll give you a little bit here, buddy. Oh, and here, Captain, the corgi. Alright, rest is for me, guys. Oh.
John shoved it in his mouth.
Guys, these fools will leave me alone.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have to share. Don't worry, Chris. I'll share.
Are you sure?
Here you go, buddy. What do you think? What do you think? Here, Captain. I think they like it. I think they give 2 paws up.
2 paws up?
Mhm.
Good.
What about you?
Me? Oh, I already told you it was delicious. My favorite cupcake thus far since we've started making cupcakes.
I'm looking forward to the other movies. How I can
Yeah.
come up with ideas for the theme.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not that I didn't like her past cupcakes. I'm just, A, not a fan of Prosecco, and B, I'm not a fan of, raspberries?
Yeah, raspberry.
Yeah, raspberries, so, there's only so much I could like.
How did you feel about jam in general though? Was it too sweet?
No, jam was
Put in a
good.
cupcake? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just the raspberries?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if anyone should have a need for a baked good, please message me. Information will be below. I'm glad to send you my menu of things I normally have, or we can come up with something together. With that said, let's move forward into spoiler territory.
Alright. Yes.
So, if you haven't seen this and you don't want to be spoiled, or if you don't care, keep watching. But if you do care, go ahead and pause, watch the 4-hour film,
Yes.
come back.
We do recommend watching the extended version if you can get it.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, and one of these, definitely recommend you guys go watch. Honestly, I can't say that about every single movie we watched so far for this podcast.
Agree.
But this, again, one of them I would recommend. So, but yeah.
Let's go forth.
Yeah, let's go. Would you Excuse me, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, so the opening scene starts with however many years back when our buddy Schmeagol, Gollum, was a normal hobbit on a boat with his brother Deagle. They're fishing. Great scene. I really like this whole opening.
Yeah, I love the scene.
Honestly, every opening scene was great.
Yeah.
They did a good job setting the tone. But go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Schmeagol was the least hobbit of all hobbits that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he still had that gross voice.
Yeah, that voice, and then
scary.
Least hobbit sounding hobbit in the world.
Yeah, he would look scary,
and
even as a regular dude.
Just looked like some weird, creepy hobbit. Sorry, that was completely random. I mean, it fits him and his character. Doesn't make it any less weird.
It does. I will say though, and obviously they find the ring while they're out on the water, and the ring corrupts absolutely. Yeah. So I will say, even though it is a great opening scene, there was some bad CGI when Deagle gets pulled through the water.
Cuts the
by
fish,
the fish.
yeah. And even when he's being pulled forward, it's super fake looking.
CGI just doesn't stand up. You know, there's a lot of the visual effects and CGI that stands up and still looks great to this day. Like the trolls. I'll get into it more. But really, this is one of the few scenes where it didn't look great, but still a great scene. I love seeing Gollum's transition. It was genuinely scary when they're fighting over the ring. And spoiler, he kills his brother for the ring. And it's not even meant to be that scary. He just is scary, and they do it well. And they do his transition really well, where he goes from, oh, it's a raccoon. Sorry, there's a raccoon outside. They do the transition really well, where he goes from a normal looking hobbit to this deformed creature. They do the transitional makeup really well. I really liked his little monologue. We even forgot our own name.
Hours.
Okay. So I really, really liked it.
Yeah. Like I said, I remember being freaked out watching that one in theaters for the first time. I was like, oh my god, what's happening?
So did the same Park clan go and watch the film together? Did all you kids go see it, or?
I mean, not all of the kids.
You and your sister?
Yeah, mainly it's me and my older sister. My younger two sisters.
They're probably young for it too. Yeah. Okay, just question. Editing, quite well done.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we've already been talking about the Force perspective, but I do want to say the Minas Tirith set is so beautiful. Every time they show the White City, I'm like, oh, look at it, you know?
Yeah, that I don't know if you guys are interested, but if you ever just Google Minas Tirith set, right?
It's about the size of a person, right?
Yeah, it's about 5-6 feet tall, right? And every little building was created, and it's huge and glorious. And so if you guys are ever interested in looking at that image, I would highly suggest Google imaging that.
Very enjoyable.
Oh, excuse me. Something else I also wanted to talk about with the Force perspective is they did a really good job. I forgot to mention this in the other podcast, but they did a really good job of putting everyone through that Force perspective, so it doesn't feel like it's only happening with Gimli, for example, right?
Okay.
When Theoden and Eowyn are talking, right? The camera up to their face and the angle slight, change, and it's just between two fully grown people, right? Eowyn and Theoden. It was the fact that they did it with everyone. Just made it seem so much more natural with the other characters when they had to use it, for Gimli or the Hobbits. So that's something I really appreciated Yeah, it would have been weird if they only did it for Gimli and the Hobbits, and then it kind of loses that magic a little bit. At least, or I would have noticed it being a little weird, but yeah, that's something I really thought they did a really good job on.
Is there a specific scene you're talking about? I can't think of.
Yeah, it's like right before they head out. It's like, Aragorn leaves for the mountains, and Theoden is talking to Eowyn. It's like, hey, if I should fall in battle, you'll be the one in charge, and yada yada. And she's like, well, what any last, orders you'd have me do as my king? And he's like, that you would smile one last time,
Okay. I know.
Yeah, that
in
scene.
His camp.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about pacing?
I
have to say that there was never a point where I felt it lost pace.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other one, with the ends and stuff like that, or after Gandalf dies, both of the other films I felt lost their pacing. What about you?
Oh, I agree. We took a quick break. We paused at like the 40-minute mark of the movie. I think we just had to go to the bathroom, take a quick bathroom break. And, we paused it and I was like, wow, it's already at the 45-minute mark. Like
it happened so quick.
Yeah, like it did not feel like that at all.
Yeah.
I thought we're like 20, minutes in, and like we're already 45 minutes in, so they did a really good job. Just keeping it going, the pacing. Specifically talking about pacing, there's that battle at Pelennor Fields.
Which is the one outside of Minas Tirith.
Correct, yeah. The big battle, right? And they cut the movie, or like the battle scenes with scenes of Frodo and Shelob, Smeagol, and that was really well done.
It was great.
Yeah, it's like cutting tension with another tension scene, something that we're invested in and important, and we don't know what's gonna happen, right? Of course, in the back of our mind, we're like, okay, Frodo's gonna escape. He's Frodo, right? Plot armor. But you're still excited to see it happen, right? Whereas Helm's Deep and the Ents, it's like, okay, we know the Ents aren't gonna think these hobbits are orcs.
Right.
It's like, okay, you just wasted like 30 minutes of our time. We don't care.
And it was just boring.
Yeah, it's just boring, and there's nothing going to happen, right? So the fact that they cut tension with tension,
absolutely,
was brilliantly done, right? Yeah, so like I said, that was something I really wanted to point out with this one versus the Two Towers, as you said.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. However, this movie isn't all sunshine. There's a reason why we gave it a 9.4 instead of 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
I do not believe it. I will not.
Oh yeah, so some of the sound editing, like I always gripe about. I don't know how hard it is to like mix sounds, but the music and like certain sound effects were just so loud. Dialogue that we had to constantly change the audio. Maybe we need a better audio system, but pretty sure other movies don't have the same issues. So.
Yeah. We've seen other movies with this TV. Yeah, I think the sound editing just
could be better.
Maybe it's just because it was different from inside a theater setting.
I don't know.
But I know what you mean. Yeah, I agree with that. But there were some like things that just like things with the movie itself.
Some like continuity.
Yeah, like right in the beginning of the movie when Gandalf and them get to Isengard.
Oh,
and
Isengard.
They find the Palantir in the water. What on earth was it doing in the water outside the tower? Right? Granted, this is explained.
If you don't watch the extended scenes, you don't even know what it is.
The Palantir?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They reveal it in the first movie.
Do they?
Tell me.
When Saruman or Gandalf gets to the tower, Orthanc with Saruman and he's like, how do you know this? I have seen it. And he's like, a Palantir is a dangerous tool, Saruman. we shouldn't use them. They are not all accounted for. The lost seeing stones. And he throws a cloth over it and he touches it. And then
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
Very well.
So
It's
it
been
is
a whole film since we've seen it.
Yeah, so it is explained what it is. But the fact, like, why is it in the water? Why wouldn't it be in the tower? Again, which is explained in the extended. So, but you know, a lot of people have never even seen the extended.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so you know, there's that. But you know, if you want to take the next.
Well, then why don't you continue with some continuity errors?
Oh, so it's continuity stuff. Okay. You know, something else. You know, Gandalf talks about like Sauron's revealing his, you know, deadliest servant, right? As if we've never seen him before.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I was like, is this a new guy? Like,
Yeah.
is this someone we haven't seen before?
Yeah. It's like he said, like Sauron's has yet to reveal his deadliest servant. You've met him already, by the way. He's the one who stabbed Frodo. I was like, what? What do you mean reveal him then? Everyone knows.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if they were talking specifically about the wraith that he rides.
No, it was the Witch King.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it was
Yeah.
just strange
Yeah.
wording.
Let's see. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of continuity things. So do you just want me to knock them all out and then you can think?
Yeah,
over the
go
other stuff?
rapid succession.
Something I hate about movies with battle scenes is the whole cinematic like community disagrees. Worse the battle tactics are, the better the movie will look. Like, yeah, it'll look a lot cooler if they have no idea what tactics are.
Because they just like head to head.
Yeah, like clashing into each other and all that, which I understand it's fun and cool to watch, but it makes absolutely no sense. Oh, excuse me. You know, when the orcs are, you know, going into Osgiliath, right, on the boats, and the Faramir and the men, obviously, they know that they're coming from the river, right? And instead of volleying arrows at them, right,
to the boats where they have no
defense or anything, which is the obvious thing to do,
right.
They just sit there and wait behind walls and let them land and like storm in for no reason whatsoever.
Faramir did not show his quality that day.
No, yeah, he did not show his quality that day. No wonder why he lost the city. Let's see. Yeah, so I just hate that concept of like changing battle tactics just because it'll look cooler.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's certain movies that they don't do that, or there's certain movies where they use specific tactics because A, it makes sense and it looks cool, right? You know, but again, you know, that takes a lot of research and, you know, on all that, but yeah, I do understand it, but I'm not a big fan of it. Let's see. The Witch King, right, you know, so the Pink Orc Gothmog, I think that's his name, I'm pretty sure that's his name, and he's talking to the Witch King, he's like, what of the wizard? And the Witch King says, I will break him, right? If you don't watch the extended scene, that never happens. Like, they could have just, if they're gonna take out that extended scene, they could have just taken out that line, too.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And you know, kind of going off of that, so in like the middle of the Battle of Minas Tirith, Gandalf's staff just disappears until the end of the movie. He doesn't have it in any of the fights. Something you alright?
Yeah, sorry. Someone was...
Yeah, he doesn't have it at the battle at the Black Gates. He doesn't have the rest of the Battle of Minas Tirith, and no one notices. Yeah, in the extended scene...
I never noticed, I'll be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the extended scene is explained, the Witch King destroys his staff, but we'll get into that later. Let's see here. Like, there's a whole bunch of these things. I'm just gonna keep going through them. Let's see.
Well, don't do the extended scene.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Aragorn, when he's with the Ghost King... Oh, yeah, I guess that's not a continuity thing. I'll leave that for you. Oh, yeah, when Frodo's in the web, in Shelob's web, he's running, right, through the tunnel. His feet are on the ground. And all of a sudden, when he gets caught in the web, he's like 2 feet in the air. His feet are off the ground.
He is up there.
Like...
I don't know, maybe he jumps.
Like, he jumped trying to through the web, like, and he landed like this.
I don't know.
That makes no sense.
I'm sure it just looked visually better.
Yeah, it looked visually better for sure, but just made no sense whatsoever. Let's see. When Pippin's finding Merry out on the battlefield after the battle, why was he under like an orc and like hiding?
Yeah.
And like in pain.
That was never shown anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, he stabs the Witch King. Ah! And then all of a sudden he's under like.
Yeah, it looked like he like faints at that point.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so you know when after the battle, Aragorn's like, "Hey, we gotta go to the Black Gates and distract them, the orcs." How did they get there so fast? They get there in like less than a day, and that's like half the map almost they got across. That's
They're like,
far.
forget what Middle Earth looks like for a sec.
Yeah. Unless you're telling me they're like, okay, let's march, and took them 3 days to march
look
an
how
army.
quickly Sam and Frodo scale Mount Doom.
Yeah.
In a couple hours.
Yeah, that's true too.
A whole volcano mountain.
Yeah.
So. Time isn't super great.
Yeah.
Passage of time isn't. But I mean, that's been a complaint I've had the whole series. Passage of time is a little weird, but I can forgive it.
Yeah. Before the Battle of the Black Gates, Aragorn he goes to the gate, right? He's like, come forth, right? And then all of a sudden, the gates open and he goes back to the army. There's blood on his sword.
Well, that's when they extended.
Yeah, again, I explained it extended, but it's not there, Like I said, I think just a little digitizing could have fixed that. If you're going to get rid of that scene, it's about details. You got to pay attention to what you get rid of. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for continuity-wise. If you want to go through the list about other things.
Yeah, I have a few more negatives I can add. I wanted to wait to mention this until we got to the last film and just say it as a series whole. But this film is great in terms of like positive masculinity. All the men are very affectionate towards one another. They hug and kiss each other and they cry for each other and they love each other. But something that's not great, it does fail the Bechdel test. And I try to keep in mind that this story is written in the 40s, 50s?
Yeah, 50s.
But the Bechdel test, for those who don't know, is a very simple 3 rules, I believe. Are there 2 women? Oh, I think there's 4. Are there 2 women? Do they have names? Do they talk to each other? And when they talk to each other, is it about anything other than men? And we counted named women. If you count Shelob the spider, 5 of them.
If you count the extended scenes, there's 6.
Yes, which is some random Hobbit lady who says one line. Even Rosie Cotton, by the way, has a single line in the entire 3 series. But anyway, yes, there are 2 women. Yes, they do have names. However, none of the women talk to each other at any given point in the films. So, who are they? Arwen, Eowyn, Rosie Cotton, Shelob the Spider, and Galadriel.
And Lobelia Saxville Baggins.
Yeah, I have no idea who she was till John said that, but,
Just, random. So while Bilbo was off on his adventure, she was one of the relatives that was trying to raid his house.
Yeah, I knew that much.
Yeah, she tried to steal his collection of silver spoons, specifically.
I remember from the Hobbit film.
But yeah, that's who Lobelia is, if anyone's curious.
But yeah, it's a very simple requirement, right? There are obviously other tests for feminism, but have to point it out that they do fail. It is a war movie. It is an old thing set in the past. I'm sure the Rings of Power will be more thoughtful about introducing strong women characters. But, it's something I'd like to point out. Additionally, I'm not going to really talk about how dwarves are kind of a metaphor for Jewish people. That's more on the writing in J.R.R. Tolkien by itself. However, I will say they made a choice in this film to not include any of the free men that are fighting for the good side to be any people of color. They're all white people. And then the people that are fighting for Mordor, a lot of them are people of color. They look vaguely Middle Eastern or other races, you know? And I'm like, that's a choice. So, could have been better. Not necessarily bad. I don't hate it, but could have been better now that we're watching in 2022. Another thing, the CGI when Legolas goes up the Oliphant.
Legolas being extra again.
Yeah, still looks bad. Legolas going up the troll didn't stand up.
His or hers?
It's his. I'm pretty sure. Why are you looking at me like that? Did you lose it? Is that yours? What was I saying? That it just doesn't look good, which is unfortunate because like the trolls that are fighting at the Fields of Pelennor look so good. So I think they just can't do like too much motion very well. It just didn't look realistic in any like way that a realistic human proportion
like
can move.
with like people or like humanistic.
Oh yeah.
Deagle, right in the beginning. You know, there's. If they just didn't have Legolas be so extra all the time.
Yeah, it wouldn't have looked so bad.
Like, it was not necessary at all for him to make him so extra. They're just like, ooh, let's make him look cool, right? And it looks bad.
Oh, another negative. Every time I have to see, what's his face eat that damn tomato.
Oh, that tomato. That damn tomato. When after the movie came out. Right, y'all know what scene I'm talking about him, John, what's his name? Give me 1 second while I look up his name.
So it's the Steward King.
Yeah, Denethor.
Denethor.
And so after the movie came out, there was actually a petition online going around, and people were signing it, demanding that he apologize for the way he ate that tomato. Everyone and their mama knew he did not have to eat his tomato that way. And he chose to eat the tomato that way. So yeah, there was an actual petition going around that people could sign online and to get him to apologize.
Yeah, that was a choice, and it was awful.
Oh, hey. Sorry. Just random tangent, just because I'm on IMDB. And you did mention her earlier. It's Charlize Theron's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Charlize Theron.
Yes, happy birthday, Charlize Theron.
You are beautiful and
Yes.
talented.
And
lovely.
welcome into our home anytime.
Yes. I hear she likes spoopy things.
Spoopy things?
Yeah, so
All
we
right.
may get a kick out of our home and our spoopy cat.
During October.
Yeah, I'll have a lot more spoopy stuff out.
But sorry, yeah, please continue and while I look up this actor's name.
Yeah, you know what else I don't like is when they're in Mordor and Frodo gets captured after Shelob poisons him and Samwise thinks he's dead. And then Samwise realizes he's not dead and he's gonna save him and they're up that like tower thing. That whole color scheme was just black. And I thought that I get it, black and white, good, evil, orcs are dirty, nasty, whatever. The black was just like boring visually, aesthetically.
One thing, just in the defense of the setting and the people who like designed it. Mordor is A, there's no sunlight ever. And B, they're under a volcano that's an active volcano, so I'm sure it's spewing ash all day, you know? Why it's so dark all the time.
I understand why it's dark.
Or like black and like gray and all that.
Yeah. Sulfury.
Yeah, sulfury.
I guess.
Even Boromir says the very air is a deadly fume. That, you know, when he's talking about you can't walk into Mordor, he's describing it.
I don't know. It just was a little lazy. Like, what color should we do this scene? Black. I don't know. Personally.
Yeah, I think one thing that Peter Jackson really tried to do with... Sorry, let me blow my nose. Oh, I'm a mess today. With the Lord of the Rings trilogy, is he really tried to stay true to the source material as best as he could. And, Lord of the Rings being like the first of almost like all modern, or it is the first of modern fantasy, right? I think he really wanted to keep that concept of good and evil very basic.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be complicated.
So I think that might be something why also it was very simply just black and white done.
Yeah.
Like Minas Tirith, the White City, I mean, it is called
It
the
looks
White
great.
City. But,
No, it looks great.
Yeah.
Even like, obviously, like the inside of a volcano is gonna be red, right? But just visually, it's just like that looks nice. It just the black just didn't do it for me. You want to go into any other negatives you have?
Yeah, one thing that I always hated was, after the Battle of Pelennor Fields, right? Or not Pelennor Field, the Black Gates, when they destroy the ring, Sauron's tower is being destroyed, and the ground crumbles.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that.
That perfect.
Yeah, it like crumbled around the humans, right? To an extent. Like, it should have just stopped crumbling at the gate.
I agree fully.
It's not like all the orcs got consumed into the ground. Clearly a bunch of them escaped.
For sure.
I
I like how they just run away.
Well, yeah,
Just like,
they see everything being torn apart.
Deuces.
And, like, even though they were fighting, you only see, like, 10 dead humans, like, on the ground, right, for some reason. Like, all the humans survived for some odd reason. But, yeah, it's like, even if, they could have just stopped the land crumbling right at the gates.
Yeah.
The orcs still could have ran away. Wouldn't have made a difference, right? Because some of the orcs did survive.
Yeah.
It was just a very stupid, like, concept and idea.
I agree, yeah. Oh, the earth is going to
Yeah, it's
crumble
like-
perfectly in a semicircle around the human.
Yeah, like, it's a fantasy, yeah, but don't make it just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
Oh, another CGI that I didn't like is when they're all bowing to the hobbits. It just didn't look good. It looked fake.
yeah,
I get that they had to CGI those people onto that thing, onto the set, but just didn't look realistic. And that's like, it left a bad taste in your mouth because it's really towards the end. So it's just like, come on. You're going to leave this end with a bad CGI.
Also, one small thing, when Frodo wakes up after the whole debacle, why is only Gandalf in there when he wakes up? And B, why did everyone come in one at a time? You would think they'd all rush in they're all just like walking nonchalantly. It was like, oh hey, it's Legolas.
Samwise.
And then Sam was like, hey Sam, it's just, bruh, they would all be, well I think none of them would leave his bedside, except maybe like one at a time to use the bathroom, or like, one would get food for everyone, but...
Merry and Pippin would definitely be in the kitchen.
Yeah. But Sam wouldn't be leaving.
Sam wouldn't leave.
And, but, oh well, what are you gonna do?
How do you feel, though, about that overall scene? Like, it's kind of weird, right?
It's just too long.
They're all like, ah.
Yeah. A little ridiculous.
It kind of feels a little bit like a fever dream.
Yeah. So, he wakes up and he's still surrounded by lava with Sam. But yeah, that was a bit too ridiculous.
Yeah, it felt like it wasn't in a realistic setting.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It was a choice.
Yeah. Not a fan. But,
With all that said,
yeah, it wasn't all bad.
Still a great film.
Mhm.
And let's go into some of the stuff we really liked.
Yeah. You want to start us off, or?
You go ahead.
Alright. This is a really small thing that I really like, though, and really appreciate. I love the kid they picked for Arwen and Aragorn's child.
In her dreams.
And her, when she's foreseeing the
vision,
future in her
yeah.
vision. That kid was, like, the perfect fusion between those two.
He did look like if I had to create their perfect child.
Yeah, like, that was a perfect pick, whoever casted him. Like I said, this was like a 5
whoever cast anyone in this film.
Well, yeah,
did
yeah.
incredible.
Everything was great.
Even Grima.
Grima, Wormtongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said before, the Minas Tirith set, incredible. The CGI, like I talked about, the trolls look so good. But also will look good, in my opinion, is the ghosts. I thought they did a really good job. I thought it stood up really well.
Yeah. One thing I hate about the ghosts, I started it earlier, but then I'm like, you could bring it up because it's not really continuity, is when Aragorn, like, grabs his neck, the Ghost King's neck, has the blade at his neck, it's like, it has been remade. Right, and he pushed him like, yo, that was lame.
The quote?
That quote, that was so lame.
Remade.
The line was broken, has been remade. I'm like, bro, like, I get it, but...
I thought it was that sword was broken.
No, the line was broken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the blood line.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. Well.
Oh, something I really loved was, just like the script for Denethor. What he says. The crazy guy was really well written.
Oil.
Yeah, bring wood and oil. But when he's talking about like Boromir, like death, right? He's talking to Gandalf and Pippin. That whole like scene was really, like, everything he said was really well written. So
he burped him.
yeah, I know he's not like a major character or anything, but he probably had one of the best scripts.
I really like Denethor as one of those characters you hate to love.
No, you love to hate.
Love to hate.
Yeah. Hey.
I love when he's like, flee for your life.
Abandon your posts.
Abandon your post! Flee for your life!
And then Gandalf just bops someone.
Prepare for battle!
Something else I really loved was Smeagol's struggle with the ring is so well acted. A perfect scene of this is when Frodo's struggling to get up the stairs, and Smeagol's like already at the top, and he's like, like kind of like reaching for the ring, and you can see it in his eyes, and he's like struggling, right? Sam pulls out his throat, stay away from him, right? And then, Smeagol ends up helping Frodo up the stairs. Just like, the struggle for Smeagol was so well done by Andy Serkis. And like I said, that man was robbed of the Academy Award, but beautifully done.
I love the part when they're fighting for the ring, and Smeagol makes that face that... It's all his facial expressions are just like exactly what I think a completely unhinged maniac would do.
And this thing is a bit of a controversial opinion, but this is my personal opinion. I really enjoyed the long ending. A lot of people say it was way too dragged out from, after Frodo destroys the ring and, the eagles save him, from like that point to the end. I know we talked about that scene when Frodo wakes up, but other than that scene, I thought it was really well paced. I enjoyed it. It was a really good send off for, the series as a whole.
I think
very bittersweet, which I love.
Yeah.
Again, just everything was great. Just like someone who's gone on this seen like the crazy and the worst parts the world has to offer, just trying to assimilate back to a normal life and how difficult it really is.
That PTSD.
Yeah, that PTSD, just that struggle, not being able to ever go back
to how it was.
Yeah.
I also think, you set up all this character development, and there's so many characters that you've come to know and love. You have to give them a proper send-off, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while because there's so many characters, so... I don't think they could have done it significantly faster. Well.
Yeah. I agree. Like I said, I thought it was really well done. But yeah. Do you want to talk about other the positives before?
Yeah, I don't have that many.
Yeah, just like other. These are one
I
last
think
really
these are yours.
positive thing I love was, when Frodo is, they're on the mountain or Mount Doom, and Frodo and Sam are together, and Frodo's talking about like, he doesn't remember the sound of water, the touch of grass. He's naked in the dark. It was really reminiscent of Gollum. In the beginning of the movie. When during his transition, he talks about he forgot the softness of the wind and the taste of bread.
His own name.
Yeah, he forgot his own name. Frodo was right there.
Great parallel.
Yeah, that parallel was really well done, and it really showed that if it wasn't for Sam, just one person that like supported him and helped him, Frodo would have been Gollum.
Yeah.
Just
absolutely.
straight up,
I will say though, like, what is it that causes the ring to affect certain hobbits more quickly than others? Does that make sense? Like, in the beginning, when Smeagol is introduced to the ring, he immediately kills his own brother, right?
Yeah.
And sure, maybe Frodo and even Samwise have something special about them that allows them to resist the ring better. But, like, Merry and Pippin also have that. It's just like, is that...
Yeah, so the ring does kind of have a personality of its own in the sense that, like, it can kind of... it has a will of its own, can kind of do its own things, send out its own vibes.
Oh, like it has a straight mind of its own.
Yeah, and to an extent, right? With its ultimate goal, getting back to Sauron. But the ring was really sending out, for lack of better words, evil vibes when the hobbits found it, right? And it's in a sense going on overdrive, right? So that's why Smeagol and Deagle fought each other to death for it.
And then even like.
And then the ring kind of went quiet for a while, and then the ring after 500 years was like, you know what? I am gonna dip.
I'm tired of this.
Yeah, I'm tired of this Gollum.
Smeagol guy.
Yeah. So he tried to. So he, slipped out of Gollum's pocket. Like the ring actually, can extend movement.
I will say they did a good job of showing that in The Hobbit,
Yeah.
where the ring like falls out on purpose.
Yeah, and even Galadriel says in the beginning of the first movie, the ring was found by someone it did not expect, a hobbit, right?
The ring was like another
Yeah.
freaking hobbit.
Basically, yeah. But then the ring was like, you know what? I'll chill with Bilbo. And it's always kind of like sending out like really weak vibes. Like
That's
it
what
never
I'm
stops.
saying. Also, it's like she was in Bilbo's pocket for what, like 50 years,
Yeah, something like that.
and he didn't go as insane.
He went insane.
He didn't go as insane.
Yeah, like I said, it was still small vibes where with Gollum it was like
So it
100%.
chooses when.
Yeah, it can choose like
To fully affect. people's
yeah
minds.
to use its full power of persuasion. Right when Frodo was holding the ring above the mountain or above the lava, that's when it was at its most powerful.
Yeah.
Screaming
like,
out.
Don't put me in the lava.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, because even before that, right? Frodo was like, Frodo had his, I guess humanity. I mean, no, he's not a human, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And as soon as he gets there and he's holding, that's when he all of a sudden,
Absolutely.
like a light switches,
Yeah.
switched on. So, but yeah, but that was some. But back to what I was saying earlier, that was a really good parallel that I really liked.
I love that.
Also, just like a couple random things. Every time I watch this movie, there's like the orc and the goblin. They're like fighting over the mithril, and they get into a fight, and the goblin like drop kicks an orc during the fight, right out of the window. No. So the goblin gets kicked down the hole, and then the orc's like that he tried to knife me, kill him, right? And then the fight breaks out, and the goblin like drop kicks that orc out the window. I've always wanted to drop kick someone out, like ever since I saw that movie as a kid. Yeah. Ever since I saw that movie, I'm like, yo, I need to do that to someone someday.
What a guy thing to say.
And something else I also loved, nothing to do with the movie or like the plot or anything, is after the ring gets destroyed, they're at the battle, the troll immediately dips.
Yes.
Like the troll like instantly knows, okay,
Right.
something's bad. I need to leave. And he just leaves. Everyone else just like freezes. Like, what is happening? The troll's like, nope. I'm out.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about the Sam in the ring?
So it's not necessarily shown in the film, but
we can say that to the end about differences between books and...
that works.
Okay.
Alright, let's go into this extended scenes. For brevity, let's just do like the really important ones.
Yeah.
So at the first extended scene is Saruman when they are at Isengard, and they've taken the Ents, as you recall from the second film, took over, flooded the area, killed all the orcs, and Saruman is abandoned alone. He's up there in the tower with Grima and Gandalf and Aragorn, the whole team, are in Isengard talking to Saruman, and Grima basically stabs him and shoves him down the tower, and he gets impaled on a spike. And that's his death scene. Baron.
Sell it.
What else am I missing? Oh yeah, so when he does that, around the same time the Palantir falls from the top of the Isengard into the water.
No, so he has it in his robe.
Oh, okay.
And, he died, and then as the wheel spins, it falls out into the water.
Okay.
But during that scene, like Gandalf, Theoden, and Saruman, they're like talking.
I also always wonder.
Yeah, but Saruman is at least
100 feet up.
100 feet up, at least minimum. But realistically, a lot taller. And they're like talking in like normal voice, maybe a little bit louder than normal.
Right.
Especially like Theoden and Grima. It's like, Grima, come down. You were once a man of Rohan, right? It's like, how are they hearing each other? No way in how could they hear each other.
I always think of like in Harry Potter, like they use the wands to amplify their voices.
Okay.
I know that's not what's happening, but I'm like, maybe there's some wizardry going on. I don't know.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. What else was really important?
Eowyn's dream was important?
I don't really think so. It was just foreshadowing.
Okay.
I think something that was important was the Witch King fighting Gandalf for that brief second, and the Witch King destroys the staff.
Yeah.
But
it goes to show how strong he is.
Yeah, it really goes. Yeah.
When Eowyn kills him.
Yeah.
So it's like even Gandalf couldn't fight the Witch King.
Exactly. Yeah. So the prowess of the Witch King. Also, that's the only time the Witch King uses his sword.
That's true.
For some reason, he doesn't use his sword.
Doesn't he use the flail?
Yeah, he only uses the flail. And something that bothered me though about that scene is like, so Witch King is like ready to like kill Gandalf, right? He destroyed his staff. Wraith King, or he's coming for him, and then all of a sudden you hear the Rohan horn, right? And the Witch King like looks, and he sees the army and he flies off, right? You would think to go fight Rohan, right? Or you think he'd finish Gandalf first,
right?
But I guess he figured, okay, he doesn't have a staff anymore. Well, what can he really do other than like small magic?
Does he need the staff
to do bigger magic? Yeah.
Okay.
You can do like small things without the staff, but yeah, realistically, you need your staff to do like big magic. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a conduit.
But like clearly he leaves, right, to like he needs to see what's the next threat, right, and he sees 6,000 Rohirrim, right, ready to fight. He doesn't do anything until after the Oliphants have gone through, and then the Witch King finally comes in and grabs Theoden. He's just watching, just sitting there watching. I wonder how this is gonna go. But
that's a good point. Maybe he was busy doing something and they just didn't show it. I don't know.
I don't know, but you can continue. Sorry.
Another thing that I think is important is Éomer finds Éowyn, and initially he thinks she's dead. They take her to get healed. She wakes up, and then she meets Faramir. I think it's important because they fall in love at the end, and they're like definitely like portrayed to like each other. during the coronation ceremony, and it's like that came completely out of nowhere.
No, there was like one like really small scene in the theatrical version where they see each other before the coronation, but they just look at each other for like real quick, just like give each other like a quick smile, and that's it.
Yeah, so this comes pretty out of left field if you don't
Yeah.
have that extended scene, because they talk to each other at least in that scene.
And then the Mouth of Sauron.
Yeah, so this is when they're in the Black Gates,
Mhm.
and as you were saying, the Aragorn has a thing of blood on his sword. That's because when he knocks at the gates, the Mouth of Sauron comes, which is this guy who's I really love. First of all, I want this to be added because I love his character design.
Yeah, he is.
His
great.
like weird mouth thing, no lips, can't see his eyes because he's wearing like this crazy helmet thing. He talks very interestingly as well.
Gandalf Greybeard. Oh, I can't do the voice, but he does.
That's not bad.
Really? You think so? Thank you.
I don't know. I really like that character. I think he's fascinating and interesting and looks really cool aesthetically.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's hilarious because Aragorn just cuts his head off.
Yeah, he's like, screw you.
Which, like, technically you're never supposed to kill, like, the liaison right before a battle. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Never
like,
kill the messenger, even though every movie or story.
a lot of movies they kill.
They kill the messenger
Yeah.
anyway.
I just think it's a really cool scene, and it also fixes your continuity error with the blood on the blade.
Right.
Do you want to go into the book differences as the resident person who's read the book?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more extended scenes that we can go into them. There's issues with some of them. Some of them are, no issues at all, but we'll find some way to post our notes, full notes somewhere, somehow.
For sure.
Maybe we can start like a Patreon. If you subscribe for $1 a month, you
We'll
get
give
the
you our
notes.
thoughts.
I don't know. But yeah. But books and movie differences. So there's one major difference that I really want to bring up. I mean, there's two if you count the Sam. But the first one is Merry when he stabs the Witch King, right? And it's not really explained.
Yeah, he gets his arm like
And his arm like burns like right? But a lot of people interpreted that. I interpreted it as when I first saw the movie as a kid. So for me, my timeline went. I saw those old animated movies.
The Hobbit animated.
The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
right, and The Return of the King, right? Those old animated movies. I saw those, and then I saw the live action Lord of the Rings in the early aughts, and then I read the books, right?
No,
But when a lot of people thought when Merry stabbed the Witch King, it was like, oh, it's because he's a hobbit. He's not a man either, right? Which is not the case. In the book, the hobbits were given, the four hobbits, they're met by Tom Bombadil, who I hate. But he gives them like these magical swords, right? Frodo loses, before they get to Rivendell, Frodo loses his and then he gets Sting, right?
Like, how magical are we talking?
They're just like imbued with like good magic, like can hurt evil magic, evil thing beings, right? And that blade is what hurts the Witch King.
I see. It's a
Right.
good.
Yeah, it has like good magic in it. I mean, Merry and Pippin, they lose it when they get captured and run into Fangorn, right? But Aragorn, while he's in Fangorn Forest, tracking them and looking for them, he finds the swords and then he eventually returns it to them. Which, where the movie, right, that never really happened. In the extended scene, in the first one, Galadriel does give 2 blades to Merry and Pippin.
That's true.
Right? Which can be seen as the barrel blades. That's what they're called, the barrel blades. But again, when they lost them running into Fangorn, there was no way for anyone to give it back to them.
Yeah.
But that is why Merry can hurt the Witch King.
I see.
Yeah, magical blades given to them by Tom Bombadil.
I just interpret it as men can hurt him, but a man can't kill him. And so his magic, when he stabs him, burns him because he is male, literally.
Mm.
Whereas Eowyn can kill him.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a solid interpretation. Like, he can be hurt, but he can't die.
Yeah.
Which would explain when, like, Aragorn, like, fights him with fire in the first movie.
Yeah.
Okay, very solid, yeah. And something else is, people think so Sam rescues Frodo in Mordor, right? And
He's
Frodo's like,
hiding
oh
back the
no,
ring.
I thought, well, they have the ring. And Sam's like, no, I have the ring. And, you know, people are like, oh, you know, and Sam, like, hesitates to give the ring back to Frodo. And people are like...
Just for a second.
Yeah, just for, like, a second. He, like, you know, thinks about it for a second, right? Some people interpret it as, like, oh, it's because Sam can see Frodo going crazy, or Sam wanted the ring for himself slightly, but overcame it. So, fun little thing, trivia. During that moment, the ring gave him a vision of what life would be like if he held onto the ring and what the ring could give him. And it showed him this vast field of garden, right? Flowers and garden, just everything, you know, Sam could, like, possibly dream of.
Keep in mind he's
right?
a gardener.
Yeah, he is a gardener, something to keep in mind, right? And he loves his job. And, you know, he would have, you know, hobbits, you know, working, you know, on his garden for him and all that, right?
Make the world beautiful.
Make the world beautiful. But Sam was able to overcome that because he didn't want all that at the end of the day. He just wanted a small garden that he created himself, right? And just that alone would have been enough to make him happy. So he realized he didn't need it and he gave up the ring.
I absolutely love
Yeah.
it.
He was trying to be tempted by the ring and he overcame it because he is the true hero of the story.
Samwise is too pure, too good.
Yeah, too good, too pure. Randomly. Did you ever see that meme? It's like the Fellowship at 100% of strength. This is a whole Fellowship. And then it's like the Fellowship at 99% strength. And it's just Aragorn and Sam.
I love.
But yeah, those are the two major book differences.
Not too many.
I mean, keep in mind, these were the two important ones. I mean,
Right, I know there's others, but...
Yeah, but yeah.
Pretty true to
Yeah.
the book.
Yeah. But, alright.
Let's go into the trivia.
Yeah, trivia.
So, at the time, the Lord of the Rings trilogy became the most nominated franchise, with 30 nominations, which is more than the Godfather trilogy, which has 29. Do you think they feel slighted?
Honestly, I guess it depends if...
Honestly, it's all because of the third one so bad.
Yeah, the third one is so bad.
They could have been the most.
Yeah.
That's on them.
I mean, the first one had 11 nominations. The second one had 9 nominations. So third one, still had 9 nominations.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
But, that's because the movies that are just garbage.
And then the other one is the Star Wars film franchise is with 21. Is that including all 9 they have?
No, just the original.
The original 3.
3, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I believe.
I mean, I don't think the other ones.
Actually, it might be all of them.
I don't think the other ones have been nominated for anything.
Yeah, I don't think. Maybe John Williams music
or editing.
Yeah, maybe, but
anyway.
Special effects. But
Excuse me. Another little trivia: Andy Serkis, the person who played Gollum, and Elijah Wood, the person who played Frodo, were each given prop rings by Peter Jackson used. And they both thought that they had the only one ring.
Yeah, all other copies of the ring was supposedly destroyed.
Insane.
Yeah, they didn't want... the only 2 were kept. One was given to Andy Serkis, one to Elijah Wood.
I wonder what they said when they found out. Wait a minute.
I thought... No, yours is a fake. I got the only one.
I got the only one. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Fight me. And then they do a recreation of the end scene in Mount Doom where they fight over...
He bites off his finger in real life.
Listen, if actor is gonna bite some other actor's finger off,
it would be Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. You want to do the other one?
Yeah, sure. Another fun trivia. The final day of filming was actually over a month after the movie was theatrically released. and 3 weeks after the Academy Awards. So this movie had already won Best Picture. Trivia, the only and first fantasy movie to ever win Best Picture.
Really?
Yeah. And with that said, right, there was like a final shot of like the skulls on the floor inside the cave with the ghosts, right?
Oh.
Yeah, Peter Jackson thought it was hilarious that he was still filming for a movie that had already won Best Picture. Just a little side note. But,
interesting, they felt the need to add that.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, I couldn't
It's
tell
not
you.
like it was a pivotal scene. When
I think it was in the extended, right?
Yeah, it
when they
was
show
in the
the
extended.
skulls and.
It's just like, why was that necessary to add?
I guess he wanted that one last shot.
He was like, I'm gonna die if I don't add these skulls
Yeah.
on the floor.
Probably. This one I always liked because it's really cute. At the end of the movie, Sam, when he gets back home to Rosie and his kids, he says, "Well, I'm back," right? And then the movie ends. That's the last line in the books as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very sweet,
Yeah.
thoughtful.
Yeah. And there's a lot more trivia, with these movies, but
We could do a whole podcast just on Lord of the Rings trivia.
But like I said, that's just for time's sake.
Yeah, we're moving into quotes.
Maybe that's something else. If we do set up like a Patreon or something, people can get access to if we film extra content.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I'm willing. We save all our notes, so we can always go
Yeah.
back.
but let's get into the quotes. Again, same thing. Way too many quotes, so we're just gonna go over some of our favorites.
I'll be Gimli.
All right.
Never thought I'd be fighting side by side. I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
I could do that. Sam, do you remember the Shire, Mr. Frodo? It'll be spring soon, and the orchards will be in blossom, and the birds will be nesting in the hazel thickets, and they'll be sowing the summer barley in the lower fields, and eating the first of strawberries with cream. Do you remember the taste of strawberries?
All right. Since you're gonna go
Yeah.
tend to the dog. Sorry, Captain seemed to press the bell to be let out. I'm gonna say the next one. There's only a single quote. Gimli, certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for? I love that line. But yeah, while I wait for my co-host to return, yeah, I don't want to finish the quotes without since the two people quotes.
I'm coming.
Run! Well, I didn't say the last AON quote.
Oh.
But if you want to you want to be Pippin or Gandalf?
Okay,
for C?
I want to be Gandalf.
All right. I didn't think it would end this way. Letter C.
And no, the journey doesn't end here. Death is just another path, one that we all must take. The gray rain curtain of this world rolls back, and all turns to silver glass. And then you see it.
What? Gandalf? See what?
White shores, and beyond, a far green country, under a swift sunrise.
Well, that isn't so bad.
No, it isn't.
And I want to be Theomer.
Okay.
Or Theoden, sorry. I have to use Theoden and Aomer together. Alright. This is one of my favorite scenes in all the movies. One of my favorite quotes in all the movies.
Wait, what about Gimli really quick?
I did that one, but
Oh,
you
okay,
went.
sorry. Okay.
Alright. Aomer, take your arrowhead down the left flank. Gamling, follow the king's banner down the center. Grimbold, take your company right after you pass the wall. Forth, and fear no darkness. Arise, arise, riders of Theoden. Spears shall be shaken. Shields shall be splintered. A sword day, a red day. Ere the sun rises. Right, then he rides past the men hitting the spears.
Yeah.
Ride now, ride now. Ride, ride to ruin. And the world's ending.
Death! Death! And then they repeat it several
Death!
times.
Death! Forth Erlingas! And then they charge.
And then AON After she kills the Witch King.
No, before she stabs him.
Oh, right before she stabs him. I am no man. And then she goes, ah! Which, the acting could have been better in that scene.
Fool, no man can kill me.
And then she takes off her helmet. I am no man. Ah!
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for our podcast today.
Yeah.
You know what?
What comes next? I think Pulp Fiction.
Let's see there.
Yeah, that's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction, yep.
That's exciting.
Yeah, not my favorite movie.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, entertaining, very dude bro.
Culty.
Very culty.
Cult classic.
Like
I mean, every Tarantino film is a dude bro movie, let's be honest.
Yeah, very okay movie. I mean, I liked it, but like I said, I'm surprised it's in the top 100.
Yeah, well.
But what are you gonna do? So, is there any last comments, questions, or concerns you had?
No, none at all.
All right. Well, tune in next week or hopefully next week. It looks like we're doing these every other week now, but hey, better late than never, right? Yeah, tune in next week where we'll be talking about Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we had all to say. Please don't forget to subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. The links to our Twitch and YouTube, or
Share with
our
your
Twitch
friends.
are down in the comments below, including the bakery information if you are interested. Please don't forget about that.
That has been Cupcakes and Hot Takes with
Yeah.
Maral and John. That's John.
And that's Maral.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you.